Okay. I have no idea. I have to go up here and see what you all can see. I don't really know. However, let me move this over some more. Whoa. Daryl, if you're seeing this, this is why YouTube loves you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. It is hot. Oh, it's so hot in here, everybody. Oh, hot flashes. Okay. Uh, so, I could make me smaller, but why would I do that, right, folks? Oh, let's keep moving this over. There we go. I want to get it all the way over where you're going to be able to see it. And then I'm going to start, and then I have a few, I don't know if you can still see it. So let me just do something really quick here. No, not that. This. Oh, okay. Good. Now, pages. Okay. Okay. Folks, I'm going to wait until I see on here what it is you're seeing. Okay. And then I'll start. Right now, I'm looking for the chat. Okay. Everyone here, Linda's House of Chill, Mr. Rocker, Christy. Hey, Christy. Loma. And Linda's House of Chill. Yes. Okay. I'm here. Am I moving? Could be. Am I frozen? Could be. Let me see. Am I frozen? Let me see. Oh, that's a red one. Oh, no, no, no. I don't want to mess with that. So we're going to stay right here. Refresh if I'm frozen because I switched something in OBS. Huh, believe it or not. So you'll have to refresh. Okay, it's been a really big. Okay, it's been. I'm here. Okay, it's been a really big week. Could be. Woo. Yeah, if I'm not refreshed. Okay. Am I frozen? Let me see. Oh, that's a red one. Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. Hi. Right here. Let me go over here. Oh, it's so cool to see this. Because I switched something. This. Oh, I need to turn the sound off. No wonder I'm hearing echo. Okay. Very busy week. Some of you know B-Man had a surgery, so we're taking care of him. However, he's here in the chat. His mind is going strong. Number two, there won't be a shout out tonight. I promise, will do one during the week because, excuse me, I need to get those from last week posted. And, I have to change the cartridge in the printer. And then also I have 10 channels to highlight and I didn't want to shove them all in. Third, I have a mail call to open up. And then we have 2 slideshows. Because we're the Bee Lady Apiary, and because that's what our business is, I have to find somewhere to look up here, down here. Okay. And because this is bee season coming up, we are highlighting most of our live streams to beekeeping because we're now on the web, thebeekeepingapiary.com. Okay. Over there, these 2 printouts that I'm going to be going over here will be posted there. The one that we went over last week is posted there. And I'll be putting daily blogs there. You know, I love to write daily, and that's one of my ideas or ideas for over there. Eventually, we have a PayPal link set up, so I'll be putting things on there you can order. At this time, we're not doing honey only because of shipping. Shipping is so awfully expensive, and the liability of getting products to you, you know, safely. If we ship it and you don't get it, you know, we have a problem if it breaks in the mail. We did try once to send honey in a glass jar and it broke. So, excuse me, I have a fan on me and it should be helping. But anyway, so our main, even though we do, like, we have fruit trees and I can them and make jam. We have strawberries and we, you know, I have a whole bunch in the freezer downstairs. That's another video. I need to make jam from those. Blackberries, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Blueberries, blackberries, whatever. Okay. So, you know, and we have you know, tomatoes that I can, things like that. But our main thrust is the bees. That's what we're all about here. Even though we do all of those things, you know, in that sense, I guess you could say we're homesteaders. We do not, our animals are our bees. So first I want to do my unboxing. Oh dear. I'm opening this. I just opened the box that came. I'm going to read the, right here. Let me see here. A gift for you. Bee. I love that. People call me Bee. Something every southerner must have in their kitchen. Love you. Oh, country girl. If you're not subscribed to her channel, in fact, she's on right after me. Here, I'll type her. I don't even know what it is. Maybe I'll type it in after I see what this is. Isn't that terrible, folks? I have a crazy sense of humor. Oh, and I see Broussard Homestead here. Before I forget, because my attention span these days is, so that's why it may seem like my sentences are disjointed, but I'm, you know, if I don't have my notepad, well, it's over here. Right here, I'm right-handed. Because I'm managing so many, I have so many balls I'm juggling in the air, whatever you want to call. I see Broussard's Homestead, who are beginning beekeepers, and they're doing just fine over there. And the other thing is that they have for sale elderberry slips. Now, I just learned about elderberries this year, and how they're great for the immune system. We were taking elderberry gummies. We were gonna plant elderberries. Our two little plants that we tried to get them through the winter. They died inside the house. So I said, I'm just gonna get some slips from somebody that knows what they're doing. So they are in Louisiana. If you have ever wanted to grow elderberries, and I think everybody should. I know they will grow in this area. We're in the Northeast, right near Canada. Growing zone Arctic. Well, growing zone, I don't know, 6A, I think it is. I told them. You want to, you want to sub to Broussard anyway. They're an up and going channel, and I think their live streams are a riot. They're really earth. So I'm trying to see who else is on here. Hey, Christy, yeah, go on over and sub Broussard. But if you want elderberry slips, they're the people to go to. You're going to get a great deal. I'm not going to put the prices out here, but you're going to get a great deal. How do you spell his name? Broussard. Homestead. Now, as for Country Girl, I'm going to do this before you go to this channel. TRE. Country Girl. Wait a minute. Country. Oh, dear. Country Girl. Just Country Girl. You want to sub her. In fact, she's going to be live right after me here on YouTube. Also, her other half, better half, however you want to put it, is Andy's Tennessee. Now, I said Andy's Tennessee because, folks, I can get to 3. I think it's on a screen, on a channel name, after 3. I'm like, who are they? Andy's, let me see if it'll come up on here because I type it in. Andy's Tennessee Tennessee life, living country. But you know what? Sub to Country Girl and you'll see Andy. How's that? And next, I want to give a shout out to these folks. These are people that all helped me, or like current in my week. Country Girl, and that I have a gift here, which I don't even know what it is. I'm going to open it, and then we'll both know. Andy's Tennessee, and I think there's 2 words after that. And I honestly don't know. I'm not trying to be funny. It's like, phew. But because I type it in so much on my laptop, it just comes up. And Broussard, because they just shipped out our elderberry slips, which I'm going to put in like we have like little pots, and I'm hoping that's going to be okay. And the next folks are 2 family homestead. Yeah, I just put them in. You're going to want to sub them too. Because Daryl, if there's something out there about OBS or streaming or anything, he knows it. And he'll help you with anything on Tuesday nights. Monday nights, they always have a guest from somebody in the homesteading community. If you want to be a guest on there, contact them. Just go to their website. The information's all there. Andy he just kind of subs. He just kind of live streams and puts up streams when he can. He was in the hospital recently, so whenever his health will allow. And I'm looking at you all here. Let's see. So now I'm going to go over here because we have to cover some things, folks. Hey, why is that blurry? I know why that's blurry. No, it's not blurry now. Okay. How are we doing here? Yeah. Well, you can look at that. Let me open this. Wait, I want to watch myself. Yay! Oh, surprise! A diamond. A brooch you shouldn't have. Whoa, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Okay, let me see here. Oh, okay. Oh, looky, folks. It's a bacon bacon drippings pot. Oh, this is so cool. I had scissors here. Ooh, brute force. This is so cool. We were in a chat talking not long ago, and we talked about these back in the old days, and lo and behold, I found out that the girls in the South and the North still do this. Still put their baking drippings, save them on a pot. And I guess I don't have to refrigerate it, right? Can y'all see this? It's so cute. Isn't that adorable? Thank you, Country Girl. This is so cute. Honey, we're having bacon for breakfast tomorrow. We have some in the freezer that my sister sent me, that big stuff, you know. So I'm going to try that. Great. You'll have to let me know if we keep the bacon drippings in the refrigerator. I don't know. I don't think they did in the old days. And then you can put it in food. Okay, now on to the important stuff. All right, last week we covered, I don't even remember. It was something important. Oh my dear, anybody remember? Maybe do you remember? Oh, that was something important. I don't even remember. Isn't that terrible, folks? B-Man, do you remember what we covered last week? No wonder. Anyway, moving on. Anybody there remember? Yeah, bacon drippings. I'm seeing that. Always have baking. Anybody in the refrigerator? No? Okay. Okay. This is going to be dry if you don't dry, but if you don't do bees. But, it's got to be done because we're very passionate about this. How to choose which method. And by the way, these are not our words. We searched, this is from what we learned in our bee club. This is a combination of what we've read through all the books we have. And there are quite a few, folks. What we've experienced from our mentors, from our bee clubs, of which we belong to 2. One is just kind of, they're not commercial beekeepers, just a regular club. And there are about 1,100 of those in Western New York members. And then the larger one, which we, have authors in and everything else, They're off the scale. We have the smallest apiary there, I think. I think somebody just started with 10, maybe. They have 500 and up. These are the people that truck in the bees or whatever. They have bee yards all over the place. And they compete at the local fairs and whatnot for special honey. Okay. So it's a combination of that and what else? Websites. One that we like is Honeybee Suite, SUITE, which we think is probably one of the best as far as information. But like I say, no two beekeepers are going to agree on anything. And whenever somebody tells you that they absolutely know this is the right way to do something, you want to go somewhere else because nobody knows everything. Everybody's going to make mistakes. No matter how long you've had bees, no matter how many bees you've had, I don't care if they're nukes, I don't care if they're packages, I don't care if they're swarms. You're going to have some good times and you're going to have some not good times. And that's just the nature of beekeeping. It's not like having a dog or a cat where, there they are. You can take them to the vet if they don't eat or don't something. Bees, you go down there one day, they're gone. They've swarmed. And then as you go on, you learn to recognize, I think they're thinking of swarming. Okay, stuff like that. But, you're going to cram your head with information, but please do not get discouraged. Do not feel bad. And of course, there are some beekeepers that are just, nothing bothers them. Everything's fine. Everything's perfect. And, sometimes those are the beekeepers that don't think about it too much. But, we just love bees. Anyway, moving on. How to choose which method of getting your bees is right for you. You have studied the different types of honeybees, which we didn't do yet, and match was available for you to purchase, most likely. And that's one reason we skipped that lesson. There's carnelian, Italian, all these different types of bees. You're going to get a conglomeration. You're going to get a mixture, a hybrid of bees, because you're going to get a nuke, you're going to get a package, or someone's going to give you a swarm. Okay? Most likely you will get a combination of whatever is available for nukes, packages, and or swarms in your area. After reading and talking with other beekeepers, you have decided on beginning with nukes, packages, or catching, aka attracting a bee swarm. First, we're going to cover nukes. Here they are. This is what a nuke comes to you with. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually 5 frames. 5 frame in a box. We have a picture on one of our slideshows of us unloading our first set of nukes, okay? And those frames are going to have a laying queen that has already been accepted and is known by the hive. This is extremely important because introducing a new queen into a group of strange bees can sometimes result in the hive not accepting the queen. I don't like her. That's one advantage of a nuke. Second, 2 frames, usually you get 2 frames containing brood, which is bee eggs, in various stages, larva and capped brood. The larvae are there to show you that the queen is viable. She's just laid some recently. And I had the days and it went right there. Advantages of nukes. The bee colony builds up more rapidly than packages and do not suffer the sudden drop in population. This is because of the aging that happens in packaged bees due to their not having. Oh, I'm going to be correcting on this one too, and I just went through these. Due to their not having, sorry folks, a storehouse of brood, baby bees, hatching soon to replace the dying bees. So remember, the lifespan of a worker bee is only a few weeks. I think it's between 45 days in the summer and much longer in the fall because they have to get through the winter. Okay, this is especially an important thing to consider if you live in an environment with long, cold, snowy winters. Okay, because of the recent increase in packaged bee prices and postal rates, nuke prices are now very close to the price of packaged bees. Used to be, folks, that packaged bees were maybe $70 and nukes were $100. Not anymore. Now they all are pretty much the same price, and that is because bees are becoming popular and also bees are becoming rare. I mean, it's a lot of work to have a bee yard, make up nukes, and sell them. Think about it. When you start with your bees, think, oh, gee, somebody's doing this for a living. They're making up nukes. Um, that's why it's also a good idea to join a bee club, because a lot of people there will say, well, I'm going to have 20 nukes. I'm going to have 30 nukes, stuff like that. Packaged bees are usually significantly more delicate than nukes, and we're going to go over that later. In the nuke, the queen bee is already a functioning member of the hive. She has produced the brood that is in the nuke. It is already a fully operational beehive, only smaller. Instead of your 10 frames, you have 5. That beehive, for all practical purposes, is going. Okay? Regardless of when you purchase them, nukes can be set up later in the spring when weather conditions improve and more reliable nectar and pollen sources become available in your area, meaning you can hold nukes for a short time. A lot of discussion on what the time is, but they have an entrance, it's plugged up, but they can come and go and whatever they need to do. And you can usually get some food to them also. Nukes often seem to build up hive population faster, and this increases your chance for a successful hive and a larger honey production. Packaged bees are a little risky. If that's all you can get, though, go for it. If I got a good price on packages, I would do it. Okay. Now we're going into packaged bees. The queen bee arrives in a small separate box. If you look here, folks, here's the package. Here's the hive. Okay. They're not in there yet. They come in a little thing like this. In this container down in there is the queen. She's never been in that hive. She hasn't laid any eggs. She's fertilized. Okay. They don't know her. She doesn't know them. Okay. Once your packaged bees arrive, you set them up, add them to their new home, a beehive box, usually a deep, with 10 frames. It will help them if you have previous frames of wax. On some of the frames, better yet, if you have frames of honey or pollen to give them. Anything you have from hives from the previous year that will help them get going, you need to put it in there. If you have a frame of drawn out comb, great. They're going to love it because they don't care who it came from. And 2, it takes a tremendous amount of energy for bees to draw out comb. A lot of time, a lot of energy. You're going to be giving them frames, empty frames. They've got to draw out the comb and then they can store the honey. There are some folks that will spread wax on the comb. There are pros and cons to that. Those that I've seen that do it, they've had great success. You may want to, check into that if you're getting packages and you're concerned. It takes each bee quite a bit of work to make honeycomb. The wax comes from glands on the bees' abdomens. Each bee first make and then eat about 2 tablespoons of honey to make 1 ounce of wax. 1 United States tablespoon equals 0.5 ounce of wax. An average worker bee makes only about 1/12 teaspoon of honey in its lifetime. Okay, 1 bee, 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in its lifetime. Okay. This is why we use the uncapping method of extracting our honey and give the capping with any leftover honey in it back to our bees by leaving it outside each hive. What that means is we have our I want to make sure I'm putting my hand. If you have the frame there, I should bring a frame up here. Like your frame, we take what looks like a smaller space between fork and we scrape off the cappings and put those in our extractor. Some people heat up knives and just take everything. We don't do that. Some people have what's called flow hives, where as they make the honey, it goes right into a jar. We don't do that. Okay. We give them every possible chance so that the comb is already there. They just have to start right over again. And there's honey on there. Okay. Enough for them to get going. All right. I'm going to do that. Okay. Moving on. Catching a swarm. This is number 3. There's a swarm. Folks, I can't help it. When we see a swarm, I like to move the little stick and it jiggles just like jello. It's the weirdest thing. It really is. But it's interesting. Okay. It's foggy because my OBS is not centered, but I'm not going to mess with it. Hold on. Let me see real quick. Let me see real quick, guys. That's centered. I'll move it down just a little. Is this centered? Let me move this down just a little. Let's try this. I know it's got to be in that box or it's foggy. I don't know, folks. Let's hope that is a little better. If not, I don't know. It's the weather. Okay, where's my pages? There we go. Attracting a bee swarm to begin your beekeeping or add to your bee yard. Now, catching a bee swarm is usually, if you talk to beekeepers, okay, only recommended for experienced beekeepers. If you have never kept bees, it might be a good idea to get a friend or someone who is who had oh or someone who is got it. Have them to go with you. I don't know why I got that in there. To go. Okay, rough night. Have them go with you to get and set up the swarm. The Bee Lady Apiary. That's us, our channel. We don't recommend that beginning beekeepers go out there and catch a swarm. For what specific reason? You might be totally capable of it. But what if you panic? What if you drop it and you panic? You know, you're out there like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? You know, you can't panic. I mean, you can. I mean, it's up to you. You can, but, and ideally, there are people that may catch a swarm, put it in a bee box for you, and deliver it to you. That's something you may want to look into. Okay. I think Rose at Wholesome Roots, that's how they got their bees. I'm not 100% sure. You may want to drop her line and see if that's true. But they're doing really good with their bees. Okay. Bees will swarm anywhere, in trees, gutters, inside homes, in cracks and spaces, etc. Okay? They will. Trust me. Anywhere. Well, how did I do that? Because a bee swarm is a temporary state for the bees, the swarms will often land somewhere for only an hour or only a day before moving on to another location. This is because the queen bee is not a good flyer. She has trouble flying, folks. Okay? Surprise, surprise, the queen bee has trouble flying. Okay? Queen bees have large bodies, but their wings are the same size as those of worker bees. Swarm stops only to rest while the scout bees are out looking for a new home. You know, it's interesting. Before the bees swarm, they actually start walking the queen around and around and around the hive to get her to work that honey off. And she becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. So it may be kind of difficult to spot the queen in the middle of your swarm. Okay? And you don't want to find her anyway. She's in the middle of that group up there that you saw. Okay. If the bee swarm is new, they are usually quite gentle because they are full of honey. Now, if they swarm and you get them that day, the next day, before they leave, the last thing they do is gorge on honey because they know they're going on a trip. Okay. They're fine. Oh yeah, we're a swarm. Come on, smoke us, take us. Okay. If they're reaching their limit and they've been swarming for a longer time, they may be hungry and a little bit more aggressive. So me personally, we've always smoked them. We don't take any chances. I'll just say the last swarm we got, they were in a tree, which are the swarms that I get. I won't, some people, you have to go in homes. Think people have bees in walls, they have them in doors, they have them all over. And people have to go get those and get them out of there. They have honey dripping all down through the walls and whatnot. Okay. But we don't do that. I know Big Bear Homestead has done things like that. He is a professional. I want to say he is a professional trapper. He had a trapping business and he was highlighted on CNN, I believe it was, or their local news or something like that for his business. He's just an all-around great guy and he knows about getting bee swarms. Okay. What to put is supposed to be in your bee swarm what to put in. Oh, why am I doing this now? Whoops. Okay. Your bee swarm when bee swarm, sorry folks, gonna do this now. When you catch it. I'll just say to catch it. Yeah, that's better. Okay. What to put in your bee swarm to catch it. Folks, been a long week. This is good though for me. Okay. Any size container that can accommodate the entire bee swarm. You can use some people have used plastic containers like those storage containers. I wouldn't, but if you have holes in there so they can breathe and stuff, great. Any container that can accommodate the entire bee swarm. Most beekeepers advise having some extra space inside you know, what we did is cut off one side, cut off the other side of the tree branch where the swarm was, and then put that. We took a nuke and put that in there, and then close it up. Okay. Most swarms are about the size of a football. Some container ideas are cardboard boxes, buckets, plastic bags, nuke boxes, and hive boxes. Be sure your container has a top and or can be closed. You will have to immediately put them in a permanent hive once you get to your bee yard. Probably you're going to put them in your car if you've gone to get this, and you don't want them flying around your car. So you got to make sure it's closed up and get them to your bee yard. Okay. An exception to this is if you have caught them in a swarm trap. So if you have a swarm trap, up in a tree is the best place to put them. Then it is recommended that you give them some time to get settled as a hive, luring the swarm you are catching into your container. You need to get as many bees from the swarm into your container box on the first try. It's not like, well, let's get the rest, okay? That's why you want a big enough container where you're going to take that swarm and you're just going to put it in there, the whole thing. They're not going to leave. They're not going to leave the queen who's in the middle, okay? Remember, the queen bee is in the center of the swarm, so aim to get that center area in first. All of the other bees are surrounding her by festooning. That's where they hang on to each other. We just talked about that last year. Over at Pickerick 1, his channel, he has a video of it. You will know if you have her because given time, all of the other bees outside of your container will follow her into it. And that is so cool to watch. You get that in there, and here they all come. They can catch her pheromone that far away. They're just very slowly, they send out their signals, and they all come into the hive box, whatever. Most beekeepers suggest you put your new swarm away from your current established hives because you do not know what diseases or parasites they may have. We have a spot over to the right of our bee yard where we put our swarms. We don't know if they have mites. We don't know what they have. On the pro side, we know they're going to be very, very strong. You know, historically, they're our strongest, some of our strongest hives. They're swarms, okay? Downside, nobody's been taking care of these bees usually, but you never know. And so we don't know if they have mites. We don't know what they have. Okay. Do not disturb your new swarm for at least a week. It will take your new honeybee swarm at least this amount of time to build up honeycomb in their new home and for the queen to begin laying brood. If you do bother them earlier before they have time to establish a home, they may swarm again. They may take off again, folks. It's like, you go to an apartment, you don't like it. I'm getting out of here. You're not going to settle in and pay rent. You're like, I'm going to go somewhere else. So you want to encourage your new swarm hive to stay. If possible, put your swarm in a hive that bees have lived in. They can tell if bees have been there. So you may want to use a hive box or a nuke or something where bees have been. Tacking a queen excluder over the entrance. We don't use queen excluders anymore. I left that on there in case you want to talk to someone about it. We just haven't had good luck with them. There's pros and cons about them. Basically, what they do is keep your queen in the boxes or inside wherever you want her to go. We just, don't do that anymore. Feed your bees sugar water. We add Honeybee Healthy to our sugar water. That's because that has, amino acids and all that stuff in there for them. There are good formulas out there. People can make these formulas with essential oils that are just as good. Rose at Wholesome Roots suggested putting lecithin in that formula, so the oils stay mixed in with the water, just like soap and oil or bleh. Water and oil don't mix. The lye makes it mix. All you soap makers out there, well, she uses lecithin. Go on over to Rose at Wholesome Roots and ask her for her sugar water recipe. I'm sure she'll be glad to help you. So you're going to feed them. Give your bees a frame or two of open brood, newly laid larvae, not capped. Check more on this yourself. Now, if you have a really, a hive that's going for it, and you have brood, not capped, because they have to cap it, okay? Put that in there, and they'll know what to do. You can do things like that, like moving brood and larva back and forth between hives to get one going, from one that's kind of growing, just growing like a weed, okay? Do not give a swarm any bee comb. Let them live on honey. They have eaten and built up their own. Oh, and they have eaten and it's built up their own comb. You want them to build their own comb. You don't want them to be, here's some food for you. Okay. You can purchase a swarm catching scent from many beekeeping supply stores for under $10. You can use what I recommended above, or you can get one from a store. We get most of our supplies from Man Lake or honeybee something. Oh, hubby, can you type that in? I'm drawing a blank. And we do so much business with them. These contain a pheromone which is normally released by worker bees and will attract swarms to unoccupied hive equipment or a swarm catching box. You may want to check with Big Bear Homestead too. What do they put in their swarm catching box? You may want to check with them. And down below I say Big Bear Homestead makes great swarm boxes and will soon be offering them for sale. Okay. Tell them bee lady sent you. Some beekeepers use lemongrass scent mixed with beeswax. That's what a lot of them use. This is spread inside your swarm trap. Do not put too much in. Okay, let's see. This is dry. Remember, bees living in locations where other bees have lived before. They love living there. So, if there's already comb inside, it's like finding a furnished apartment. No, you may want to check out Big Bear Homestead on YouTube. And there I say, I just repeat what I said. They're having great success with their swarm traps. I mean, he knows how to trap everything, so you may want to go by. You tell them Bee Lady sent you. Okay, when do bees swarm? Okay, everybody wants to know, when do they swarm? Depending on your location, bees can swarm spring through fall. Some conditions that usually happen are when there is really good weather that happens at the same time as a nectar flow. Okay, what is a nectar flow? This is sometimes called the honey flow, and is the time when sources for major nectar in the bees' environment are in full bloom, and the weather is good for the bees to fly during the days. During these times, bees build up their hives and produce honey in abundance, so they often outgrow their hives quickly. This creates a strong urge to swarm for a bigger hive and or more space. If you are a current beekeeper and begin to see swarm cups in your hives, you know it is time to put out your bait hives and swarm traps. Or you may want to remove the swarm cups and add another super to the beehive. Okay, now that's all I have on this one. And what I'm going to do in the interest of time is I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to stretch this out. I'm going to do this and say howdy. Okay. We have about 15 minutes left. I know I kind of rushed through that, and I want to know if you have any questions. We have another one on deck we're going to tell you about, but I'll let that ride for a while. I know any of you where you're not a beekeeper and, this is so foreign to you, I apologize. To people who are beekeepers, we appreciate your comments, your advice, your input below on this stream. Be you on Twitch, Facebook, whatever, reach out to us, Twitter, okay? And the sense that I'm having is that beekeepers are kind of really coming out now. They're growing in number, and they have all different ways of doing things. One thing that I'm finding is there is an abundance. Well, there seems to be. Now, I have to look a little bit more. There seems to be an abundance of beekeepers on YouTube from the South. Okay, nothing wrong with that. A beekeeper is a beekeeper. North, south, east, west. I haven't seen many beekeepers from out the California way. I don't know if they're out there. If you are, let us know. Up north, I know Country. Homestead Off Grid, something like that. And I know because I communicate with them, you know. But sorry, I'm botching your name. I'll put it in the description. And also Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, you know, and myself. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else I know because I'm really looking for beekeepers in the north because we have challenges that beekeepers in the south do not have. You know, we have to put our bees away for the winter, which is a kind of a learn as you go. I mean, it's, last year alone in New York State, half of the beekeepers in New York State, they lost half their hives. Now, we lost 6, if you remember, from last year. Not this year. This year, so far, so good. We learned a lot through trial and error. We did things different. We learned a lot from input from other channels that watched our streams and said, oh, you're going to want to do this, or oh, you're going to want to do that. That's why I say input's always welcomed. But in the north, it's a challenge. You have these beautiful hives. One thing I will tell you about in the north is when you get your nukes, when you get your packages, when you get your swarms in the spring, your main goal, if you know snow is coming, September, well, sometimes in September, October, it's going to, cold, you're going to have freezing temperatures or whatnot. You want your hives to be as big as they can be. We have a freezer in our garage exclusively for our bee yard. We build them up, and we're taking honey supers off of them. And sometimes we'll take deep frames of honey and put them in there to freeze for the winter. So when the winter comes, we can put those back into the deeps and back into the supers along with bee patties, which I'll get into more in the fall. And the final layer is sugar on top. Now on our channel, if you go to our first trip to the bee yard to look at all our hives, we have, I don't know, bee man, can you tell them somewhere between chat's down here. Hi, Food Forest. We're somewhere between 24 and 27. We'll see a hive and say they're dead, they're gone for 1 bit the dust, 2 bit the dust, and then we'll go back the next day and everything's fine. So it's kind of hard to tell. We opened one hive and surprise, a wax moth flew out, and I thought, it looked healthy too. I thought, well, that's the end of that hive, and I'd never seen one up close. They're flew out, and then we thought, well, and it was quiet, all was quiet in the hive, and then lo and behold, back down there, and they're doing fine. So, a big hive that's strong will take care of them. Your best defense against pests and whatnot in your hive is a large population of bees. That way you have your guard bees, you have your foragers, you have your drones, you have your worker bees, your queen bee is there. You have enough bees to take care of the brood. And at the same time, you have enough bees to do what they call housekeeping, cleaning out the cells for the queen, cleaning out the cells of maybe larvae or something that didn't quite make it, or if you have varroa mites, getting rid of them, taking care of wax moths, things like that. The bigger the hive, the better they are against any sort of infestations you can get. There is a limit because at some point, if you do have wax moths or varroa mites, they will take over. Not even the strongest hives can survive. Although when I went through my training, I don't know how many summers ago, to be an on-call instructor for any groups or organizations with our bee club, we went into a bee yard that had not been looked at, checked for over 7 months. Okay. The gentleman that had it was a little elderly, and there was just things all over the beehives. The one that, I had was 7 boxes high. I was looking up at it, and these people, and they come from Canada, the ones that certified us. They have no mercy. You're here, you got to do this. And they're watching everything you do. And I actually saw an infestation of varroa mice like you wouldn't believe. And the bees were still going strong and bringing in pollen because there were so many bees. I saw bees that had little mites on them and their wings were destroyed. And so they were obviously not going to go flying. But, from the wax moths, and the hive was still buzzing right along. I thought, oh my goodness, this is terrible. But, it was an interesting experience. But your first defense is the size of your hive. Your first defense going into winter is the size of your hive. Bees cluster during the winter. So how big is your cluster going to be? The size of your hive. So a small cluster isn't going to survive. For that and a whole other reasons. There's all kinds of things, but the size and the health of your hives, making sure you have a very low count of varroa mites before you close them up for the winter is imperative. One year we didn't do that and we paid the price. No, we did. The next year, we were a little late doing our testing. I mean, we were focusing on other things. If you're a husband, wife, team, girlfriend, boyfriend, however you want to put it, sometimes it works if one person can say, okay, now we got to do this, 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 and the other person's on this, 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 this. But then more often than not, you tend to work together. And there's just so much, but it comes, and it's like owning a home. You're never done. But if there are any questions, I should look on here and see. If there are any questions, I'm looking at my chat now. So, hi, Food Forest. And Tara's, oh my goodness, you do good, Tara. Cemetery Hunter, Adelaide. Tara, we talked about your channel last week. I saw Two Family in here. Jean, hi, Jean Chambers. These are all good people, Two Family. Yes, Daryl, they're on their way back from Georgia, having a really enjoyable visit with Big Bear Homestead down there. And Daryl actually pulled over at a stop with their camper and called me on Cher's phone. What's your problem, lady, with my OBS? Because I couldn't figure out how to get the two screens to, everything was fine on the left screen. And then he told me that it was the right screen that was going to be showing. And I thought, duh. There are no books out there that I could find on OBS. Anybody find one? Let me know. So yeah, I can't tell you enough about Daryl. Okay, over at Two Family. Gigi Morin, hi from New Hampshire. Oh, do you have bees? New Hampshire, yeah. That's my thing. We have to. Hi, Prior Homestead. We need. We all beekeepers. Whoop, got 5 minutes. Generally, there are many things about beekeeping that are across the board. How to split a hive, how to join a hive. I mean, everybody's not going to agree. Okay, nobody wants laying workers. Nobody wants varroa mites. Nobody wants to see wax moths. Pros and cons. Well, I don't do that. Well, I do that. One older beekeeper I met at a bee club meeting. He said, well, my bees weren't really happy. I was out there going through the hives and there was a thunderstorm. And I thought, I didn't think you were supposed to do that. Now, this was maybe my second meeting. He looks at me and says, honey, I've got over 500 hives in this one bee hard. I got to get to them when I can. So, those of us that have read or you Googled or whatever, with the atmospheric pressure, it really affects the bees. But he just smoked them and said, sorry, guys. And he had to get in there. I don't know. I mean, so they survived. So, beginning beekeepers, of course, you want to check your hives the best possible time. Not near sundown. They're coming back. That's something I can tell you. And usually they're all out and foraging. You may want to look for the time. Around 10 is a good safe time. How's that? Any questions? Bee-Man. Better be. Yeah, better be to get your products from Man Lake. So that's just about it. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go over to yep, Country Girl. COUNTREEGIRL. She is going live, I hope, at 8 o'clock. She's in the South. Okay. And she got me this beautiful baking drippings jar. Isn't that cool? Put some baking drippings in there. Boy, do I refrigerate this, ladies? That's what I don't know. I don't recall it being refrigerated. I don't know. Anybody? The atmosphere. Yeah, it affects me too, Christy. You got that right. Have you prepped any ground? Oh, she's growing. Okay, so fine, Tara. It's it. It's the end of this broadcast. Like I say, um, this that I cover. It will be going up on our website, thebeeladyapiary.com. I'll have a separate. Well, maybe I'll keep the same blog, but I love to write. Our newsletter that we're starting will be there. Our store that we're going to be selling from will be there. I have all of the structure of the website in place. It's just a matter of putting the products out there, building an inventory, and putting on the knowledge, different clips and whatnot. So we feel really comfortable where we are with this. It's, one good thing about the YouTube is that we've met so many people. We've learned so much. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. And now, people are getting bees. And, when we first started a few years ago, I mean, I'd have to hunt and peck beekeeper, beekeeper, beekeeper. There's always the big guys, that have 2 million subs and things like that. But, you want to get down to earth with people that, you were there. We were there. Everybody said start with 2. We started with 10 because we figured we'd blow away a lot. We did. I mean, and my husband was still working. I was waiting for him to retire because I had already retired before we started. And we still did. So, that's why I say, it's going to be good when we have a really strong network north and south and maybe those out, toward the Pacific so that we have beekeepers from, I put a what and what? Fridge. Yeah. What? Okay, Christy, thanks. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Thanks, Christy. So that we have in areas, because us folks up north, we have our bee club and everything, but they're not our YouTube people, that we stream to and go to gatherings and whatnot with. They're not the same community. Not that there's a problem with that, but they're all good and they have a very active website. In fact, one year I did work our county fair, Niagara County Fair, which is huge. And there were 2 people at the table at the time, myself and a girlfriend that I took who knew a lot about bees. And it's a ball. It really is, 2-hour shifts. And, we have the exhibit hive there with the bees and, the kids are, and they're telling them what they can do. So, and then there was another event that my husband and I worked at together, and that was fun. And they had an exhibit hive. Those are cool, the exhibit hives. And our bee club, if we ever do an event, lets us borrow that equipment to take with us and gives us handouts and whatnot about bees. So that's really a cool thing too. So, and they're very active in lobbying as far as spraying for varroa mites and things like that. We don't have that in this area. We get it monitored. So, it doesn't come. We live in an agricultural area. Okay? I mean, big time. So, very active in that. Okay, I'm past 8:01. Country Girl, we're coming. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone that will watch this later. Give us a like, sub if you want. I don't make people sub. That's up to you. And take care. Have a wonderful week. And this is the Bee Lady saying, go get some honey. Okay. Bye.